All right, now on Friday during Business Incorporated, we had that news that just came in. It was between Oyo State Government and Shell Nigeria Gas. They signed an agreement worth over 100 million, and it's to build and operate a gas distribution network. The project involves construction of a pressure reduction and metering station, and it's supposed to last for about 20 years. Well, let's get more details about this. And perhaps if you're in Oyo State, you may be a beneficiary of this. Want to find out how. We have the Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources in that state, is Barrister Temilolu Ashamu. Barrister Ashamu, good morning, and thank you for your time. Congratulations, I guess.
Good morning to you. Thank you for having me on the program this morning.
Yeah.
And to the listeners and viewers at home as well.
Great. So Nigerians watching this will be like, why should I get my hopes up? We've seen a lot of celebration. We have, you know, there's supposed to be a pipeline running from Nigeria leading up to Europe that's supposed to be distributing gas. We've had that and celebrated it. We haven't seen it. Neither have we heard of movement around that. So what's new, what's special about this? Why should I be hopeful?
Okay, well, I'm not in a position to speak about what's been happening nationally with previous celebrations, as you mentioned. But what I can say is that with regards to what we're developing here in Oyo State, it's been steady progress. In the gas sector, you first need to be able to identify a market, have an understanding of exactly what it is that you wish to do, secure the investment, and then the development and the infrastructure follows accordingly. I will just say that in 2020, the state government signed a memorandum of understanding with Shell Nigeria Gas under the Shell Energy Group globally, that expressed an intention to develop gas infrastructure in Oyo State. In 2020, we identified the land, and I'm happy to state that the final investment decision was taken this year, where Shell has committed at the first phase to invest over $100 million in the state to develop the PRMS, which you've mentioned, and other ancillary gas infrastructure across the state. Together with Shell, we have actually developed a gas master plan that covers the length and breadth of Oyo State. And what we were signing in London last week was actually the commitment to develop the first phase of that infrastructure. So while I may not be able to say things about what has happened before in the country, what I can say is that in Oyo State, we're very deliberate, we're very persistent, and we're very bullish about how we want to go about things. And we're beginning to see the fruits of that hard work over the years.
Okay, so give us the details of this first phase. What do we expect to see? What should the people in Oyo State be getting? Because you said it's a distribution of gas. You know, what exactly is this? How is it supposed to change the life of residents?
Okay, so in principle, what we have is an agreement to supply and distribute gas in the state. Initially, there will be a city gate infrastructure and utilities that will be completed within the next 18 months. We'll also have about 35 kilometers of 12-inch backbone pipeline that will be developed across the state, and about 18 kilometers of 6-inch distribution and ancillary facilities too. What that means in real terms is that as an administration, we've been able to secure gas supply, which will in turn reduce our people's suffering, and it will aid business investments, especially in the manufacturing sector. It will create greater stability in the power sector and increase the interest that we have in what we believe are comparative advantages in the agriculture and tourism sectors. And we'll continue to prioritize these. So when we're talking about looking to grow our revenue base in the state and to grow our economy in a sustainable manner, it's projects like these that will help us to achieve that.
So what I think I hear you say is you expect that individuals who are residents in your state would turn more to using gas for electricity, for their vehicles and all of that. But are you speaking to the people to prepare them for this? You said it's in 18 months.
Yes, of course. Well, I say it's 18 months from today, but it's something that we've been working on for the past 4 years. So there has, of course, been the necessary stakeholder engagement across the state. So the people are ready. Principally also is that the businesses who wish to set up shop in Nigeria and who wish to set up shop in Oyo State have the comfort and the security that there's a world player that's coming to develop these facilities, which of course will reduce the overheads and the cost of doing business and make the doing of business in Oyo State easier than it has erstwhile been. And of course, what comes with that as a necessary follow-through is that there will be more job creation and a better livelihood for the residents of the state. And in terms of the individual resident as opposed to the business, of course, the availability of gas is critical. If we look at the GRAs and the residential settlements that are being set up, we also have aspirations to ensure that we can get pipeline gas into residences as well. So it's a big deal as far as changing the landscape and the dynamics of the state is concerned, and we'll ensure that we continue to work assiduously to follow through.
So I talk about the readiness of the residents because on Friday here on the program, myself and my colleagues on the Sunrise Daily, we talked about, we've been preaching the issue of converting vehicles, generators to gas for some time now. And a lot of us, I say us on purpose, are still very skeptical about that because you wonder how safe would my vehicle be if I do that? What will happen to the parts? Do you have the repairmen who will handle that? So that's why I think the issue of getting the people ready is one thing. Another thing is the cost of conversion. That can also be a hindrance to it.
Well, I think it's important for us to situate exactly what it is that we're talking about here. We're talking about the provision of gas in three forms. That's pipeline gas, CNG, and LNG, available in the state. This is a facility that's going to be developed by Shell. It's progressive. It's a 20-year agreement where the infrastructure will be developed over a period of 20 years. They will build, own, operate, and subsequently transfer the assets to the state. So you can expect that transition in terms of the fuel use for different cases, be it in forms of power, be it in forms of vehicle fuel, and so on and so forth, will happen progressively over a period of time. So we're not here harping and saying that the transition is going to take place with the click of a finger. We've been at this for a while and will continue to be at it. The people of the state have been very receptive to the things that the administration has been doing over the past 4.5, nearly 5 years now, and they're very much aware. For instance, in the northern part of the state, we've also supported the development of LPG distribution, which is basically just your gas bottles that everybody uses for cooking. We also have a facility that's being developed in the northern part of the state that will service that market. These are gas forms that people are already using in the state and in the country, and all we're doing is we're trying to make it safer, and we're trying to make it more available for the residents in the state, because we know what's happening also in terms of the world, in terms of greenhouse gases and fossil fuel combustion, and we see that gas is a greener, cheaper and cleaner and more effective way to be able to power the development that we want in the States.
Any plans, long-term plans of exporting or selling to other states? That could be a source of revenue for the states also.
Well, I think they say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. My priority at this moment in time is to ensure that gas begins to flow within the state within the next 18 months, and then the rest of the infrastructure will be developed. It's a 20-year agreement, so it's long-term. And I think it's very important that when we're talking about development in the country and development in the states, that we're very particular and don't focus squarely on the short term, but we keep at the forefront of our minds medium and long-term development. And if you ask me, I think that's what we're doing in Oyo State.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister Shinwa Shamu. I guess some people might be thinking of relocating to Oyo State. That is if we see this working in 18 months. We're counting down from today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Great. Do enjoy the rest of your day.